You're
Go.
not helping.
You can go, Jess.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Jess Jones from the First Methodist Church in Dixon. And this morning, my project is to let you know about mules and donkeys in the Bible. I didn't think there was going to be much about it, but there's depends on who you talk to, 91 references to donkeys alone in the Bible. Some of them are quite famous and some of them are just passing. But first we'll start with the mule. The mule is a product of the mother is a horse and the father is a donkey. Back in biblical days, the only people who could afford them were the rulers, and the Roman army used mules to a great extent. They estimated they had one mule for every 10 men in the field. One of the notable things about mules, the leaders of the Jewish nation quite often had mules. And when King David was ready to pass his kingship over to his son, Solomon, the way he did it is he had Solomon get on his mule and ride into town and meet with the elders. Everybody knew David's mule, and so when they saw Solomon riding that mule, they knew he had the blessing of David, and that's the way they announced his selection to be the next king. It's interesting, in Leviticus, the Jewish people were forbidden to propagate mules. They could have them, they could buy them, but they weren't allowed to propagate them. They were also limited, they were not to propagate horses either, and there again they could buy them. But a mule and a horse were the symbols of authority and of the military. One thing that's interesting about mules and horses, they say all donkeys have what's called the Jerusalem cross. Now this donkey, his back is all black, and we have to take it on faith that there's a cross there. They say there is. But it turns out this mule has inherited a cross. This is one leg of the cross, and then it runs down their back, and there's a leg on the other. That's called the Jerusalem cross. The superstition or the thing on that Jerusalem cross, they said there were donkeys at the crucifixion of Christ. And the one version is the donkeys were so sad by that crucifixion that they had wished that they had carried the cross for Jesus to lighten his load. Another version is there was a donkey standing near the cross at the crucifixion, and the shadow of the cross fell across his back, and that's how the first cross came to the donkeys. So the next thing I want to talk about is donkeys. This is Don Quixote, or donkey, and there's lots of references about donkeys. But one of them, of course, Mary rode to Bethlehem on a donkey. It's just mentioned there. One of the real famous ones then is there was a fellow named Balaam, B-A-L-A-A-M. He was a leader in the Old Testament, and apparently he decided he was going to go make a deal with the non-believers. and God was very upset about this. And so he got on his donkey and went down the road, and the angel of the Lord was standing in the middle of the road, blocking his way. The donkey could see the angel, but Balaam, riding the donkey, didn't. So the donkey got off the road to go around the angel, and Balaam got very angry and cussed him out and whipped him. And he got back on the donkey, and they went a little further, and the angel of the Lord appeared again to the donkey. And in this case, he was in a kind of a narrow passage with walls there, and he got off and he scraped Balaam's leg against the rock walls. Balaam got angry about this. He got off his donkey and whipped him and beat the donkey. Then he got back on and got down the road, and the angel of the Lord picked a place in the road that was very narrow between two fences, and the donkey couldn't get around him. So he got up to the angel of the Lord, and he just sat down in the road. And then Balaam was angry the third time, and he started beating him, and the donkey was given a voice. And he talked to Balaam, and he says, "Balaam, I've been your donkey all these years, and I've never done anything against your will. Why do you think I'm doing this?" And then Balaam was able to see the angel of the Lord, and the angel told him not to continue his trip. The other very famous thing was Jesus' triumphant entry into Rome off the Mount of Olives. Some years ago, Mary Ellen and I had the opportunity to walk that road. Pretty inspiring. But as the Bible says, Jesus sent two of his disciples, and he told them there would be a mother donkey and its male baby, a colt, tied up in the village. You take those, and if anybody asks you, you tell them the Lord has need of them, and they will be brought back. So they took them, and then it's kind of interesting. There was some debate: did he ride the mother donkey, or did he ride the colt? By definition, a colt is a male offspring 5 years or younger. This was what they took, and this colt had never been ridden, had never worked at all, and so it was kind of a miracle. Jesus rode the colt, an unbroke animal, who by anybody's guesstimate should have dumped him, but he didn't. And another thing that, if you know about donkeys, they are extremely social. They need companionship. And so if the disciples had just taken the colt, there would have been a big uproar in the donkey world because they're trying to separate the mother and the baby. So anyway, there's a lot more about donkeys, both in the Bible and just general knowledge, but donkeys have been a servant of man. Part of the reason Jesus went in on a donkey is the donkey was the symbol of peace, nonviolence, and if he'd have come in on a mule or a horse, that's what a powerful leader would come in. And so it's symbolic when he rode the donkey that he was coming in peace. So that's quite a bit about donkeys and mules today. So God bless you, and hope to see you together sometime if we get out of this this pandemic we're in. Thank you.